Is August 27th, 2025. Oh, I cannot wait until the FBI cleans this shit up. You know, on August 25th, 25, Dutch Valley Restaurant, okay, Sugar Creek, two of the sleazeballs from the case come in, Carl and I are sitting at a booth, and they sit directly right across from us. I look over and I see them, like, oh. And they're in there. We found out, or I was going to steal our husband's new money. I found out his stepchildren already stole everything. And the only thing left to steal would be his Social Security money. I'm not interested just stealing Social Security money. Oh, he used to show up and say shit to me. Gonna steal from the elderly. Shake them down for their Social Security money, a sleazeball. I told you, the people that did this, you would think local drug dealer. Back alley, big rings, gaudy necklace, greaseback hair, breaking people's arms and legs, paying them money, beating up elderly people for their Social Security money, sleazeballs. Kind of sleazeballs that break in private homes, set up buying cameras, tape people in the shower washing themselves, photoshopping that in the other room. Then I found out it was somebody else's body of washing, and my head put on it as a jackass stunt. And what kind of sleazeball breaks in and roofies some lady's drink? He's never met. Or have her stabbed with a date rape drug. And then drugged up and told to say horrible stuff. And then beaten and raped under drugs. Sleazeball. Sleazeballs do that. Total sleazeballs. Think they could harm women in their home. Sleazeballs. I mean, where they said this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemason. Where Michelle was dating an agent. My ex-husband's ex-girlfriend started dating an agent on a Rouge. March 27, 25, outside my work, that agent shows up how he got her to confess that doctor from before was not one of mine. He works for them, and they had lied. He was my doctor. That she actually doesn't know who he is. And when they bashed in my head, they tried to leave me, kill me or leave me incompetent, and it didn't work. And he had got it out of Dave that a girlfriend from before me made him marry me so he could get a job at my dad's factory, and she'd have free insurance to use. The woman using my insurance for 15 years, that where half my medical records are hers, was one of Dave's girlfriends. Okay? And that ran up all those medical bills in my name, and that he could give her extra money. My whole marriage was a scam. I had chest pains for days. And then where April 17th, 25, Michelle confesses in front of the police and the FBI outside Sheetz gas station in Hartville, the same thing. Now she really liked that guy, and that's why she told the truth and told him about the doctor not being one of mine but works for them, and they had lied he was one of my doctors, and about the head thing where they bashed in my head, they tried to kill me, and it didn't work. And she really liked him, that's why she told. Okay? And they could all end up in jail for this. While big government SUV stopped, got her. Okay, April 19th, 25, the FBI shows up at Hartville flea market. You wouldn't believe how dumb these people are, and actually how dumb they are. She calls the FBI hotline. They immediately walk into an FBI building, confess they're illegally monitoring her on their own. Okay? That is a felony invasion of privacy. It's a 7 to 15 year sentence, by the way. It goes into cyber stalking. They got voyeurism, taking pictures of people naked without their permission. They got kiddie porn of of my grandkids going potty, and then you got drugs for fake confessions, and that is pharmaceutical torture, then human trafficking under drugs. I mean, you name it, you got about 100 years putting your name on this. That's how dumb they are. And where they said nobody ever fell for the dirty doctor scam, taping you unaware, confessing a crime, sat on it till they wanted a divorce, and it sounded mechanical, and we knew it was them and not you. Okay? And there's like 30 years for the doctor in that statement. Like they said, these people are so dumb they didn't realize putting the name doctor on it made it totally illegal, and the doctor go to jail. Doctor, it's right on Google. It's illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware. It's 10 years. It's a HIPAA and Privacy Act and loss of license. They can't be in it with Dave. That's another HIPAA violation. Okay. And if they know a crime's happening and they don't report it to the police, they go to jail as an accessory. See what I mean? And then they said nobody ever fell for the tape of Weird with Yourself. They could tell it was photoshopped. And they photoshopped everything. But if they were going to be that dumb, they told Agent John to go tell on her to that church before he talked to her and act dumb like these people. That's where he was up at Apostolic Church of Barberton telling people he knew was being drugged, being raped, and didn't care. Before he talked to me. And confessed on record line. He told on me and met with everyone. Okay. April 24, 25. Up in Summit Mall, there was Middle Eastern people. The Texas group was there. Okay? Lady in a job, Middle Eastern men walking around me. Off in the distance, some guy from the case, he was there. He said, you tell that guy Will that to join us. He had to pull off a scam, tell him it's all ruined because Michelle told on him that that doctor from before was never one of hers. He worked for them and they had lied. Tell him we said take care of her, and then they left all kinds of threats on her. Okay? All right. March 30th, 25. After Michelle had already, everything's debunked. Okay? It's debunked years ago, but it's really debunked now. The guy in my old apartment hadn't said a word in a year. Okay? I'm laying in my room. It's a Sunday afternoon, and my bed was right by the window by the back parking lot. I was in the office with that when they met with that agent. It's like, oh, hell no. Look out the window. He's talking to the neighbors. He said, where that church is sending out emails asking people to harass me and show up and harm me. That's a big federal crime. You know that, right? A big federal crime. That his religious group was there from the beginning to show up and help. So his religious group hurts people, that makes him a terrorist group. He said he was there from the beginning, so he knew it was a scam. Okay? He said he was even in the office when they met with that agent. And when he asked her about that doctor, she said she didn't know who he was. I still don't. Like Michelle said, they lied. She actually doesn't know who he is. I still don't. He knew she was lying because he had her tape saying blah, 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 blah. The filthy, dirty statement. Okay? They admitted years ago they drugged me and told me say. Okay? And that agent said he didn't care what we did to her and he was going to turn her back over to us. Okay? Then later on, where everything's debunked, he was outside. We got to find somebody stupid enough to arrest her and dumb enough to do it. No other police department would ever touch her with that open FBI case. We all know she's in the witness protection program and she can't be processed. Seems like the only ones that don't know about is Louisville. So they went to Louisville with all their scams, thinking they were dumb and stupid. Oh, if I was Louisville, I'd follow him around. The first time he went over 1 mile, I'd give him a ticket till he moved out of town. Okay? And then he was outside another time. I want that agent to show up here. I want him to show up and explain himself. He said he didn't care what we did to her, and found out a lot of the drug dealers that helped out went to jail. So he's in it with drug dealers. Good Christian. Has the word Jesus on the back of his truck, though. But he harms people. A little bit of God don't hurt people. The devil does. This is demonic on pure Satan levels. It's demonic. All right, and that's where he said, I want that agent to show up. The only way we can make sure he shows up if we find somebody dumb enough to arrest her, because he'll have to come get her out. Okay? Then he started. Now, I've lived in that building for 6 years. Okay? People from 6 years ago knew about the drug cartel, admitting to framing me, drugging me, and telling me to say stuff. Blasting it all over town. Okay? Judge Peters group, Henry Maffey was in town. The Judge Peters group, the drug cartel from Florida, the people that worked for the King were there. They were all there in 1920 and 21. Okay? Got it? All right. And then he ran around telling the neighbors they should be afraid of me. Drugged up rape victim. They're running a scam on, they should be afraid of me. Not him. He's probably, like Carl said, I bet he's wanting a rapist. I wouldn't doubt it. The way he leers at you, Karen. One time he was outside looking at me and Carl going, mocking us. He's sick. Told everybody they should be afraid that I live there. Leah, Carl's friend, I told her to be careful of that weirdo. Well, we went and visited her last month, and she said, I'll let you know, Karen, he's telling everybody in town you hurt children. And the police won't say a word. So he's asking everybody to take it in their own hands, to do things to you, and yell stuff at you. I looked at her, I said, I never hurt anybody. I said, I'll let you know. I called the FBI, the actual FBI, on my ex-husband. That agent opened a real case, statements in a quarter. She started chuckling. I said, police and FBI agents and investigators were following us all around. My whole family defended me. My one daughter-in-law was in it with my ex's girlfriend in the drug cartel. Okay? They even have her taped telling the kids to lie. Okay? I'll even give you one better. They even have the two guys that said they work for the drug lord bragging that they talked Melissa into helping them get away with this, that she was willing to have the kids lie for them. You're kidding. And they were bragging at Walmart 62 in front of the police and facts. No, I talked to her. She said she's willing to help us get away with this and that she's going to have the kids lie. And I'm going to have it. And he reached over and whispered in that guy's ear, and he started laughing. She's really going to have him say that? Yeah, can you imagine? How she was working with the two guys with the drug lord. Okay? Well, I went back to telling Leah, I said, they taped my ex-daughter-in-law, friends with Dave's girlfriend, telling the kids to lie. The kids on Thanksgiving of 18, that they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. Grandma needed to get out. And then later on to Flora, they made everything up. They were games of pretend and sick shit. I went to my son John, asked him what's going on. He didn't know. And Melissa, his ex-wife, he told him I'm moving out, going through a divorce. She'll have the kids make up something, and the church people too, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. It'll just be made up because of the divorce, and you're moving out. Shouldn't have said anything till it happened, but I did. And since it's just made up and no one can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. And choose me. And Even my ex defended me. Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids, you would never hurt anyone, you're good to everyone, no matter who it is. I taped him. So do they. I said if she was going to pull something that shitty during their case, they called her out in Walmart. She started chuckling. Why are they having those kids make all that shit up? Oh, they're just trying to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. That Melissa's so stupid. She made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. I said they called her stupid. And that Melissa could go to jail for this involving herself. Hate to arrest her. Her kids are little. Why don't we just write it up? Her and the kids were showing off for Dave and his girlfriend. And that's how they wrote it up. Documented me, gave us a pen that it was showing off. And then I told her about January 12th, 22, Officer John stopped men at the door of Walgreens North Main. What did those kids get taped stating? He said they made everything up. I said even the Stark County sheriffs were laughing in May of 21 that this one guy, Kurt, they had tricked him into paying for harassment. They were talking about him and said if Kurt just found out those kids were lying, he's slow. The sheriffs called him slow. She started laughing. I said they got him saying they made everything up. And the rest of my family defended me. Matter of fact, they said that March 23rd, 23, we told these people to stay out of it. We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She's never hurt anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. And it's just some lady thinking she can make money off of it. She said, is that what's going on? They already taped them all saying they were lying? I said, yeah, and the rest of them defending me. And she said, well, no wonder they wouldn't say a word. I said, they already got them. She said, I'll warn you. He's telling people in town that you hurt children. And people, since the police won't say a word to you, they are to take it in their own hands and say and do things to you. Do you remember in June of 19, out in Canal Fulton, some guy said he overheard them. They were trying to come up with a new murder plot. They were going to try to start like a hate crime and trying to get people to take me out to a field and beat me to death. In November, December of 18, January 19, Dave had bragged that he was going to get a group of people together to hang me. And they talked about having a lynch party. Trying to get people to kill me for them. Okay? That's this. Okay? Sleazeballs. These people are so dumb they make your head hurt. And it shows people that fall for this mentally retarded. It shows how much mental retardation you have in your head. You don't have a drop of common sense. Or you wouldn't fall for this. Not a drop of common sense. Where at the beginning of the case, some little white man came up to me. For every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. Try to leave Dave, I'll list you a child molester. I'm like, who are you? Right in front of the police defense. You know that bruise on your leg? I used sodium pentothal on you. You know what you said? And something about a wrong nightgown, bending over and probably accidentally seeing your butt in life of pain. And then threatened me again if I left Dave. Got away from that freak. I had a big bruise on my leg. I was throwing up that morning. The idiot stabbed me in my sleep. I went home, Dave debunked. I was dressed modestly, and they all made fun of him back my knees. But he admitted he worked for Dave, and he was drugging me up and telling me to say lies, and this was their plan. And then they kept saying, where he had bruises before and throwing up and and infected. It wasn't the dirty well water. It was us. We were drugged, beaten, raping you. We had drugged you and told you to say this. We had drugged you and told you to say that. We photoshopped all our lies. By January 19, it was effeminate wipey above the toilet to make you look weird. Then all these other crazy scenarios. I used to run around trying to debunk their lies. I got tired of it. Ain't playing with these people. I have better things to do. May 25th, 21, 6 p.m., Wendy's in Louisville. The crew was talking about the church people breaking in before drugging me, telling me say weird and molester stuff. That's not funny. 1295 Fairlawn, middle apartment, little white lady screamed at him for doing that. Talked to several people in 21. 8921, the apartment building for me, second close to the fence on North Chapel Street in Louisville. The lady and little girls lived there. They were outside talking about it. 4 or 5 neighbors did a police report. December 9, 21, 4 p.m., Edith Oakland apartment on Cleveland Avenue in Canton. Maintenance man. They told him all the tapes before were them and not me, and it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here to see if someone will stop him. December 9, 21, also at the Stark County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street in Canton. There was only 4 or 5 volunteers that day distributing food. A white man bald with dark eyes came out. Now, he was one of my guards during the case. Came out and said we always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so we never said a word. Okay. January 19th, 22, 11 o'clock in the morning, they told the Department of Disability I was drugged and told to say it before. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory. A Latino man admitted he drugged me first and told me to say it. I got my client away from him, went outside, and he's like, I heard that Latino guy. I'm like, stay out of it, I'll tell the police. Okay. We went in to Save a Lot on Whipple in Canton. They selling their hate crime through cell phones. Phones are dinging, oh my goodness, they admitted a drug and her and tell her to say it before. Down on 6th Street in Canton, across the way, there was a brown house, an African-American guy ran out and yelled at the postman. Postman's like, we all heard it. An investigator from Ravenna and a black Sebring pulled up and said, I seen her out today. I found out that bastard really did drug her and tell her to say it before. Okay? If I see that Portage County black Sebring, people say some investigator tells everyone to leave me alone, that they already have these people taped admitting that they drugged everything and photoshopped everything. Okay? All right, March 24, 22, 1:30, they admitted to framing me. March 1st to 3rd of 21, they said they put 2 clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, it's them. Don't worry about it. They're so far altered. March 13, 21, I go to Mercy Medical. Some lady comes in and said no man was ever to touch her. The nurse and some man came in and said the only thing, she looked at me and said, the only thing they had on you was simply wiping off water with clothes on. The guy said, that's sick. She said, no, she just adjusted herself. She said, that's sick. Said, no, it's funny. She just simply brushed it off. They didn't have anything else. It's actually really funny. That's how far their tapes are altered. Then they started saying stuff that never happened. Okay? You touch yourself, you expose yourself, you touch yourself, look weird. Well, that's not brushing off water with clothes on. Made my stomach bleed. And then I thought, well, they're playing me. They put my head on somebody else's body. Then I got to thinking, well, what would you be doing? If you touch yourself, expose yourself, you're undressing. Touch yourself, look weird, but not weird. What are you doing? Sounds like you undressed and got in the shower and you're washing yourself. It's washing in the shower. I walked outside to smoke. She figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, they found a tape of them emitting a shower scene in the other room. And May 26th, 22 at noon, the shower scene was done on purpose. November 18th, 22. There was this guy, Steve and Eric. The police were looking for them for stalking me. Some guy came in Walmart 62, screamed out 2 to 6 p.m. November 18th, 22. All the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it. For all these people to turn on her, and they fell for it. Well, if it's only you, I could take care of it. I know it's that bad, and they still fell for it. Christmas Eve of 22, I go to Danny and Jen, and they're running around saying Danny and Jen was in it with Dave and all this other crazy crap. Well, I'm going to confront them. I said, did you know where they kicked in my door on the 6th day while we're up there to the wall? when I had to patch it, and Dave said it was a realtor passing out keys. Don't report it. Yeah, I remember that. Did you know about butt cameras being set up? No. I said, did you know they were taping in the bathroom? No. I said, did you know they're laughing at me in front of people in stores that they photoshopped a shower scene in the other room of washing myself to make me look weird? No. I said, do you remember where I had orange, lemon, and grapefruit sized bruises all over me? Throwing up, almost passing out, including in front of the neighbor by the second week outside. And I kept saying I didn't know what was wrong with me. I remember that. I said, did you know they were drugging me and beating on me? And they're laughing at me in stores that they were drugged me up and told me to say word of molester stuff. Did you know they were drugging, beating on me and telling me to say stuff like that? No, I thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. I didn't think about it. And I asked him if they knew about that jackass Eric, all the tapes before with me and not her. And it was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it. For all those people to turn on me, and he's laughing. I said, did you know about that jackass? They said it was some guy named Eric. They were talking about it at Mercy Medical on Thanksgiving. After that, I was in the emergency room because I had food poisoning. Said no, but if he confessed, he's probably long gone. We didn't know anything. Jen's like, I just thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. I didn't put it together. Kids came out of the room, hugged me. Grandma, is that what's going on? We didn't know. All right. Why can't these people were laughing at me that they were selling kiddie porn of my grandkids going potty on the internet, and people are admitting to see it and admitting to seeing me in the bathroom. Okay, so they don't know nothing basically. So trying to ease them into, oh my God, this is what's happening, just little by little. I would go over there, and Gabe, my one grandson, he's grown. His girlfriend Shay at the time, she said, Karen, it's scary. Somebody was watching you live your life. I said, I know that. And I said, it's really scary. They were taping it in the bathroom, watching me shower and everything else. And they're supposed to put that shower scene of me washing in the other room to make me look weird. She's like, Karen, that's scary. And I said, well, what's really bad is everybody use the bathroom. Well, my daughter-in-law, Jen, she's a big girl. She's like, well, I hope I was gassy. Well, I looked over at the kids. I said, you weren't the only one that used the bathroom. And I looked at the kids. I said, everybody did. She's like, great. Let her know some perverts got porn of her kids. Okay? And Shay's like, this is scary, Karen. And I said, what's worse? I would come in from working outside. I'd wash my hands, make something to eat and drink. Okay? Go in and use the bathroom, wash my hands better. And I said, I always had a 2-liter Diet Coke, and I'd poured it in a glass. I sit down, take a drink in the room, go dizzy and black. Or I'd wake up with injection marks. I had orange, lemon, grapefruit sized bruises all over me, throwing up, almost passing out. And she's like, Karen, this is scary. And I said, I know it is. And I never seen her talk to anybody. And I thought the well water was giving me cancer. And I kept telling the doctor that and going to the doctor for injuries I couldn't explain. And she said, Karen, this is scary. People were getting in your home and harming you. I said, I know it is. Jen's like, I seen her like that. And I didn't put it together. Somebody was hurting her. I said, I never seen her talk to anybody. I never even had my neighbors in my home. She's like, Karen, this is scary. Someone was hurting you. Okay. April 16, 23. Jen's mom had died. They had a memorial service. Afterwards, I walk out to my car. Across the parking lot, I look up and Gabe and Shay walk up to Danny and Jen. Danny's like, I finally went to Dad. I asked him what on earth is going on. He said that he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men went in her home before. Pete has her framed. Pete has her taped. The filthy, dirty statement. Just some guy named Pete. I've never met him. Okay? June 7th, 23. Lighthouse Tabernacle and the Cartels in Walmart 62. It's my birthday. I'm getting my hair done. Okay. I had to go to the bathroom. I was getting highlights. It takes a while to process. I go in, I sit down in the bathroom, and I hear, FBI agent John fell for the stunt at Taste before? You're kidding. It was only a stunt. You mean that FBI agent actually fell for a stunt of tapes before that were only a stunt? You mean John actually fell for it? You're kidding. It was only a stunt. You mean FBI agent John actually fell for the stunt of tapes before that were only a stunt? Is that what's going on? Name and title. FBI agent John fell for the stunt of tapes before. Ha 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 ha. Is that what's going on? And that's why they got away with it? Because FBI agent John fell for the stunt of tapes before. Saw videos of it. July 9th, 23. Trinity Gospel, 10 o'clock, the cartels there. The FBI wouldn't dare fix this after what one of their agents did. September of 23. I'm up in Forest Grove Drive in Akron. Two people walk by and they're talking. Even some of the drug dealers they hired to watch her, they don't even find this funny anymore. Did she do anything wrong? No. The drug dealers already confessed they photoshopped everything, made fun of the FBI for falling for this. Are they going to do anything about it? We don't know, but none of this is funny. Went to her ex-husband. Asked him if he ever said it was a medication error that made her sick before. He said yes. Did encourage him for years to sue those doctors. He didn't say a word and let all those people hurt her. None of this is funny. November 20th or 21st of 23. Okay. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I'll get back to that one. Well, November 20th or 21st of 23 in Walmart 62, early in the morning. By the front register, they're telling people Agent John took a payoff and stole the money from the case. Okay. Well, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving of 23, I'm at work in the evening. My son Danny calls me. He said, Mom, I don't know how to tell you this. Dad fled the country forever. And he said something about him dropping the dogs off the pound. I said, Danny, I can't deal with this. I'm at work. I'll have to talk to you later. I can't deal with any of this right now. I waited till I got some time off. I go over and I sit down. I said, what on earth is going on? He said, I don't even know how to tell you this. He said, Dad started acting irrationally. I thought he's been acting irrationally for years. He said he went online. He bought this girl from an agency. I yelled at him, what kind of pathetic person buys a human being? What kind of pathetic person sells herself? And you can't marry somebody you've never met. He wouldn't listen to me. He paid the agency for her, paid for the wedding, paid for the travel. I said, did he even meet her before they married? He said he went over, he spent a couple days, met her, then he married her, stayed over there a few weeks, came home, started acting irrationally. Okay? Said he was leaving the country, he'd never see him again, he could have his everything in the house, his car, his whatever, and that he was fleeing the country forever. And he'd never see him again. He wouldn't listen to me. He even said I could have his clothes as if I'd want his clothes. He said and he dropped the dogs off the pound and told me I'd never see him again. Right? In the spring, I dated this retired Massillon police officer. He was also a retired sheriff. I dated him for a little bit. Okay. I was talking to my son Josh, and I was telling him about him. He said, Massillon police officer. He said there was someone in Massillon helping him get away with crimes. Well, they talked about him in 1819, what his problem was. Involving himself, he's helping people get away with crimes. What is his problem? Helping people get away with crimes. And they talked really bad about him during the case. Well, Josh mentioned him. Said Dad called down there that he found out that he wasn't there anymore. He freaked out, wouldn't listen to anybody, and fled the country forever. And he said that they had told Dad that you had rights and that no one could ever say a word to you. Oh. Well, I think he showed up December 18th, 24, Walmart 62. This guy comes in and he said Karen didn't know who Michelle was till January, February 19. He said, no, I made sure of it. He said, I thought she threatened her. And if she threatened her, I didn't care what they did to her. And she didn't even know who she was. He said, no, until she announced herself at that church. I made sure of it. She didn't even know who she was. And he said, and I said I didn't care what happened to her. And she didn't know who she was. He said, no, I made sure of it. He said, I found out Karen's getting remarried. I knew she had it in her. He said, I told that drug dealer to leave her alone. He had bet that no one had won her after everything they did to her. And I told him to leave her alone. Well, then we were down around the first of the year down in Carrollton. Some idiots say stuff to me in Virginia's restaurant. Oh, hell no. So I start rambling about everything, including, Terry Coberly seeing that guy almost kidnapped me and how that agent talked to me, and that's why I didn't tell him about it. And everything else. There's this old guy, he's staring at me with his mouth open. All right. So we go to Walmart 62, and that guy comes in with that guy that said he thought I threatened Michelle, and he found out I didn't know who she was. He said, I found out it was a medication error that made her sick before. He's like, I feel bad. He said, and Terry Coberly seen that guy almost kidnap her. He said, I really feel bad. I already told her husband, or I told the office to tell her husband that I wasn't there anymore. I wasn't going to deal with him anymore. Oh my God. I think that was him. And by January 5th of 25. Should be around that time. Go back through the notes. Shows up. He was the one from December 18th, 24. He's even showed up outside my work that he has told these people that he didn't find any of this funny. All right. So, then, oh God, it's just been an onslaught this whole year. Onslaught. Because you got everything that's happened from March 27th, 25, May 30th, 25, because of May 30th, 25, where that guy was trying to find somebody stupid enough to arrest me and went to Louisville. With all their scams. They show up at 1 o'clock in the morning, run their mouths. And some lady is with them. And said the investigators found May 26, 25 of Walmart 62. They said this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemasons. Well, May 25th, 25 in Hollister's, there's teenage kids laughing. Boy, did Bill from the Freemason run the biggest scam here. He had some guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine drugging somebody up and tell them to say something like that? And then he had some guy tape her in the shower, washing herself, and then Photoshop that in the other room. Ran a scam of who could steal her money. Scammed everybody into helping out, and they're cackling about it. May 26, 25, the Florida cartel shows up and said, we heard they were making fun of Bill from the Freemason scam. of that doctor from before not being one of hers, and he works for them, and they had lied, and this whole thing is a scam. And who does Bill think he is? And that's May 26, 25. Walmart 62. Okay? And what's going on and on. Okay? That's where May 30th, 25, the Louisville police found the original case. Said that my ex-husband hired 2 men on his own. One said he was an attorney, so it made it legal. No, it don't. It makes it worse illegal. Very much. What were they thinking? Oh, bad guys on a platter. That's what they were thinking. And they found the surveillance of Walmart 62 of them announcing this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemasons. Okay? Okay. And then one officer's like, she said something about Bill from the Freemasons. I didn't even look into it. And then she said one of her co-worker, Lori, they had killed her family member. And she even said the Florida drug cartel was here and that Henry Maffei was here in town with him. She knew who he was. I didn't bother look into it. I thought, shut up at this point. Just walk away. And he said, how dumb do I look? I thought, very dumb. Just shut up at this point. There's a real case? She said, yes. And and she said, I didn't think about this whole thing being a scam. Why not? They have told you and told you it was a scam. January 13th, 23, my friend Matt talked to a bunch of drug dealers to find out what was going on. And it was a drug scam from the drug dealers that were human trafficking people. January 20th, 23, showed up with the U.S. Marshals in Worcester. And they announced they were going to take care of this. And they blew the hell out of him 3 weeks later. August 4th of 25, they announced that they used hypnotic drugs on me to make me sleepwalk. That's why I don't remember then. That's why I had a metal taste in my mouth I couldn't get out. Okay. August 5th, 25, I'm in Dutch Valley Restaurant in Sugar Creek. A girl comes in and some drug lord said he'd date me if me and my friends would help harass her. And that if he actually got money out of it, I could have it. He's going to sell you, honey. You're stupid. He ain't giving you a dime. And as if Agent John didn't know they didn't use hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. As if he didn't know. He was telling people before this started that he knew she was being drugged, being raped, and didn't care. He even let them torture her. Is he some kind of coward? Oh, what was it? August 6th or 7th? Walmart 62. They have these people taped. August 6th or 7th or 25. Walmart 62. These people taped admitting they used a hypnotic drugs. That's why I don't remember when they drugged me and told me to say it before. Because it induces sleepwalking. And them calling Agent John a coward. Okay? I told you it's just been an onslaught. August 25th, 25. Dutch Valley Restaurant, 2 sleazeballs show up. The guy shows up and said he was going to steal all my husband's new money. Then he found out his stepchildren already stole everything. The only thing would probably be left to steal is the Social Security money. He wasn't interested in just stealing Social Security money. Sleazeball. He was one of the original sleazeballs from the case. Well, on the way, after we left there, on the way up there, I go through like the recorded line and everything with Carl. Well, it was said to me how he confessed he talked to everyone. Everybody knew the FBI was involved before this started. Well, we go in and people by the door They're talking, we all heard how that idiot talked to her on the recorded line, and he confessed he even told on her and met with everyone that the FBI was involved before it started. Well, Carl had to go use the bathroom waiting outside. Two Latino guys walked by. Now in 18, they said some guy had me drug, beat, and raped because I yelled at Dave and to teach me a lesson. They said it. Some guy had her drug, beat, and raped to teach her a lesson for yelling at her husband. He even had her tortured trying to knock her down, and she's still mean. You haven't even seen a side of me yet. And for her to be taught that she can't yell at a man. I hope you're an illegal immigrant. You admitted you were part of having a U.S. citizen drug, being raped, and tortured. You can be put in Guanaco Bay for that. And the CIA can waterboard you till they get everything they want out of you because you're an illegal immigrant raping and torturing a U.S. citizen. I hope you're an illegal. And they were saying, now, a couple Friday nights ago, when I first moved in, I went to leave. And in the allotment where I lived, there was a Middle Eastern guy, Iraqi looking kind of guy, black beard, black hair. He was big as a Goliath, walking with this petite little blonde girl, had her hair up in a nice little bun, little romper short outfit that was very nice, about mid-calf, dressed elegantly actually, and with little sandals. For like a regular day wear, she looked very nice and presentable. And she's like, I don't think any of this is funny. He's saying stuff too. Okay. Well, up in Hartville, when I got up there to go to work, they were talking how she was perfect for him and all this other stuff. Well, those Latino guys said that guy started dating, that's so perfect. He said she's so sweet. He takes her out. She's just as sweet as she can be. Has anybody seen her? I'm not joking. Has anybody seen her? Is she okay? And does she realize the bastards from hell she's with? They have you tortured if you yell at someone. Drug, beat, and raped by other men. If she's still even alive, these people are serial killers. That's how not funny it is. And then in Walmart 62, on August 25, after that, people were saying she hadn't said a word yet. We've seen that sleazeball from the original case saying how he was going to steal her husband's money. And saying all kinds of stuff in Walmart. Walmart has tape and audio through the whole store. And my phone is bugged by the police. On August 22nd, 25, I heard some men outside talking. They said, you know how stupid all this is. And how stupid all this is. We all know they said they were using some guy, drug dealer calling himself the king. Can you imagine calling yourself the king? And they all talked about they were using some drug dealer called the king to pay for all this. And her son John was running around telling everybody no one could say anything bad about her. Even when he needed someone to babysit for him years later, he called her up and asked her to babysit for him, that he needed a reliable name to put on the court records to pick up his kids. But she was working 2 jobs and she couldn't help him. He ended up losing his kids because she couldn't afford to help him. Okay? And the rest of her family defended her. Then these people tried to even frame Danny and Jen for the tape of Weird With Yourself, and they won't have anything to do with it. And they knew nothing. And these people are running around bragging how they drugged her and told her to say it before. Photoshop that. It's supposed to be a shower scene, a washing in the other room. And how they framed her. And do you realize how dumb this is? About it is where they even said, do you realize how dumb Melissa is? My ex-daughter-in-law, They have her admitting she was working with the drug lords, or that drug lord and his people. They have her taped telling her kids to lie, and her kids taped saying they were lying. She'd be stupid to open her mouth. They already have her. I know that. These people run around telling people, we have a court order to steal all our money. No, you don't. There's no such thing. The 14th Amendment. You cannot withhold protection. You cannot seize somebody's money but due process of law. 7th Amendment. Only an impartial jury trial can award money per set injury, and only a set amount, not a judge. It has to be awarded only by an impartial jury trial. Okay? These people lie and tell people that they entered their illegal stalking tapes in court without me, found me guilty, and nobody told me. And they awarded them all my money, and one of their judge friends signed it over. That's such a bunch of hawk and bullshit. It takes a retard to fall for that. Just like December 1824, other people were talking in Walmart 62. They told people I had charges, and somebody else said it was a cartel, so they called up the Ravenna courthouse. There's nothing against me. It's just the cartel. I have no charges, no accusations. They don't have a court order to get my money. They told people they had special permission to be in my home. There's no such thing. Policing agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements with a court order without a conflict of interest. I've talked to someone from the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, criminal attorney, and police. There's nothing else. They said, where even April 6, 25, my daughter-in-law, Dixie, she's really dumb. God help the child. She's really dumb. Melissa had told her that the group of people that they hired to watch me, she needs arrested for that. She was part of hiring those people. That the chief of police up there gets special permission for people to break in other people's homes. Breaking and entering it is a crime. Setting up button camera stalking them, that's felony invasion of privacy and cyber stalking. It's a major crime. Taking pictures of people naked is voyeurism. That's a big crime. And then kitty porn, my little grandkids going potty, big crime. And break in and do things to people, and the way they described it made sense to her because she's that dumb. God help that child. But Melissa told her that the chief of police up there gets special permission for people to break in people's homes, set up on cameras, watch them unaware, break in and do things to them, which to her made total sense. It's because she's that dumb. God help that child. He did not give special permission, and there's no such thing as policing agencies only under a threat of life with statements with a court order without a conflict of interest. It's the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, the right of privacy. The right of privacy, the right of the people to be safe and secure within your own person. Your places, your homes, your papers, and effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. Okay, no searches, no seizures, but upon probable cause warranted with a oath or affirmation of the people, places, or things to be searched or seized, because you have a right to remain quiet and a right to attorney and a right to privacy. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements with a court order without a conflict of interest. It's the Fourth Amendment, and Fifth and Sixth. That's where my friend from the prosecutor's office took him 30 seconds. It's a fraud scheme. They made the biggest mistake. They made a lot of mistakes. Then they had a scenario. There was a lady from the courts allowed. No, police and agencies only. Then they had an attorney was allowed. The law is if attorney sets up button cameras in your home, they're to be disbarred and criminally charged. Oh, an attorney had his doctor friend steal her medical records. Right on Google, attorneys cannot have a doctor steal your medical records. They're both lose their license and both criminally charged. See what I mean? They can't do any of this. These are all federal major crimes. And when you realize they're bullshitting everyone. In 19, they said that there was a guy running a social experiment here. to see if they killed somebody in front of everyone, if society would go along with it. They were talking about it in Dutch Valley on Monday on the 25th. Uh, we all found out this whole thing was a social experiment, and that guy got away with it here. He's going to do it somewhere else. Run a hate crime on somebody while they sell and kill other people around them. So stupid people don't turn them in. This just shows how many retarded people in this area that the drug cartel could actually scam out of everything. Officer Mark in August of 23 on a Tuesday at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon told a lady it's documented and verified I was framed before and it was a drug cartel in my home before they seen him. It's documented and verified it was a medication error that made me sick before, and another woman was even using my insurance. He considers that Bill and Pete cartel. When you realize it's just a big drug scam, the whole thing is. And they've been scamming everybody into helping out. See, they have been egging on Agent John. They December 2nd, 22, they said he stole the money the first day. October 4th, 23, Michelle and Lauren with the Florida drug cartel said he was dating them. He stole for them. They showed up in May or June of 19 and told them everyone they were stealing for him. He was stealing for them, sorry. And then October 6, 23, that it was the guy from the case's girlfriend. In 23, they told people that he was stealing for gay male prostitutes. I did laugh at that one. That makes you icky. They had on January 13th, 23, my friend Matt, the drug dealer, said you were in debt to that drug dealer. That's why it happened. So you're supposed to be some kind of drug addict that's a swinger, robbing from rape victims. They keep poking at that agent. In 18, they told everybody he was friends with them. That's why they could call him up, and he would let them get away with crimes. They mentioned again this last month that they thought they were friends, that he was letting his friends get away with crimes. See, they've been trying to discredit him big time, and he outsmarted them. And last year up in Akron, it was on the news, the despicable act of some law enforcement feeding women and children back to drug dealers. Should never happen, but it's happening so they can get the drug dealers. It's effective, but evil. I was in Bob Evans a couple weeks ago, and some guy said, some drug dealer walked into an FBI, or some drug cartel guy walked into an FBI agent's office and tried to scam an FBI agent. You're kidding. No, it actually happened. So he decided to go along with it, see what we could get. July 25th, 25, outside Bob Evans, there was a guy on a motorcycle with a helmet. I had a guy on a motorcycle and a helmet following me around 18, 19 a lot. He said, he was out talking to someone. He said, I know she don't know who I am, and that way I can keep an eye on her. He said everybody about died when they found out she didn't know who that Pete was. And she thought it was that guy that looked like a deranged Santa Claus, saying he was friends with Ludic, letting him get away with crime, as if he would. He said, but the other guy said, but there was someone that looked like that. They were even telling Faith Family Church that. And he was with the Florida people. And he was telling people that. He said, I looked up that video she uploaded of her getting the dogs in the house. He said, I forgot how big Karen was when the case started. I did a body ratio of the tape of Weird with Yourself. It wasn't even her. It was wrong body size. So basically, they took a video of somebody else showering and washing themselves and then put my head on its body. See, people were talking about it for days afterwards. They even verified it wasn't even her body, the tape of Weird with Herself. And that bill from the Freemasons has people down here screaming stuff at her. Yeah, well, they have verified I was drugged and told to say it before. Where I went to the bar association to get my new notary, they had been in there and told them and said the original police from the case showed back up that worked it and told them that they interviewed John and everybody else, and they all said that nothing bad happened to any of them. They told that in 18. It was 19 or 20. Some lady said she pulled a case, and on the case in the front of it says she was found innocent of everything. None of this is funny. I know. How would you like to be me? Move into a new house, somebody kicks in your door to the wall. Your husband at the time makes up an excuse not to report it. Some idiot sets up button camera stalking you. You have dirty well water, and until you can get a water treatment system, you still have to take a fast shower. You're waking up with bruises or taking a drink out of a 2-liter Diet Coke in the room going dizzy and black. You got orange, lemon, grapefruit sized bruises, and you think the dirty wild water is giving you cancer. Your muscles are killing you. Your personal area is infecting you. You thought that dirty well water was infecting your area, personal area. You're throwing up and almost passing out and going to the doctor, losing all kinds of weight. And then saying, what on earth is wrong with me? Is it the well water giving me cancer? Is it killing me? And they're treating all the signs of being drugged, beaten, raped. You never seen anybody. Never talked to anybody. Never had anybody in your home. Only had family repair guys and installation guys. 2 silly officers on August 8th of 18 at midnight had light in the outside security cameras. Came out and told me it looked like an alien orb, angry spirit, told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it. They weren't bothered. Never seen or talked to anybody. It kept happening, and the only thing new to you is that home. You don't even know anybody. How would you like to be me? See, that's where investigators have told them. How would you like to be her? And that's where other ones have said, when people talk to her, they need to realize she never seen anyone. She never talked to anyone. She never had anybody in her home. And that's all she knows. They can yell stuff at her, say stuff to her, but when they actually talk to her, realize she never seen anyone. She never talked to anyone. She had never had anybody in her home. That's all she knows. And I want you to think about that. When you're being mean to me, where they said Karen's ex-husband had her so drugged up there. They were drug beating, raping her, and she didn't realize what was happening. They said it was some judge messed up there in the drug cartel. We found out it was just some guy saying he was a judge. And they were trying to get his drug connections, told us to stay out of it. It's just some guy. The real retired judge that was involved in this was Judge Peters from Florida. Him and his men showed up at Faith Family Church, 3,000 people seen him. They said they were from Florida and they were for Judge Peters. Michelle was with him, the deranged looking, also Santa Claus, saying the thing about looting. In front of 3,000 people. The fake FBI agents that tortured me, and the fake Portage County sheriffs helping out. They were framing everyone. It was Judge Peters' group, and then the second group showed up. We all work for the King from Texas. We are his man. Dave hired us. He's a drug lord. He's U.S. military Iraqi translator, went into the dark web, malware, fentanyl king. That's where the Middle Eastern people show up. That's who was paying for, a Muslim. He used to be military, and they're all law enforcement is after him. He's selling government technology. And they've killed agents, so they're all after him. I talked to a retired CIA agent, she told me that they're all after him because of that. I'm going to upload this.